Hello. Okay, The Holdovers, directed by Alexander Payne. We are finally getting this movie in the UK. It was released this weekend. The States had it back in October last year, but only now are we getting it, and I've been really looking forward to checking it out because I've been reading a lot of the positive buzz coming from this movie. So yeah, the plot is a cranky history teacher at a remote prep school is forced to remain on campus over the holidays with a troubled student who has no place to go and a grieving cook. They do a fantastic job. The way in which this film is shot and how it looks, they do a really good job at transporting you back to the 70s. Like, this film, it feels like it belongs in the 70s, like this movie was actually shot in the 70s, and all of that comes to life beautifully through the performances and just from a technical perspective, a technical aspect in how this movie was shot and just crafted. The aesthetic and look of this film I loved, and by having this 1.66 aspect ratio and grainy look of the film just really helps give it this very warm and intimate feeling that's just full of character that helps elevate this story. It's a world time that's beautifully brought to life, that has this grittiness to it, which I felt really does help aid the story and these characters' journeys. And you've got stellar performances all around. Paul Giamatti is simply fantastic in this film as Paul Hunnam, a classics teacher at the Barton Academy boarding school. He's perfect when it comes to delivering the humour, and his performance just felt right. It felt very real and raw. It's a little over the top in places in how he's portraying the character, but it never loses that groundedness due to his performance. His performance remains very much grounded because when it comes to delivering sort of those more emotional moments, he's simply superb, and he does a really good job at conveying the cracks within this character. It's a very flawed character, but just how he conveys these emotions and how he brings his character to life is just simply beautiful. And his performance, along with the other actor and actresses, really sort of kind of in a way accompany or match the aesthetic of this movie, which is very 70s. So it's got so their performances have this very kind of 70s retro film style to them, if you know what I mean. Dominic Sessa as Tully Angus, a student left on campus during Christmas break, is also superb here. Again, given a very 70s retro film performance, but also just feels very real and raw. It feels grounded and gritty. There are moments with this character along with Giamatti that elevates the emotion within certain moments due to how real and raw the performances come across. And it's in these moments, you know, there are certain moments with these two characters and emotionally it really hits hard. And it's due to how they convey these emotions through these very kind of fractured characters. You can feel the pain that these characters are going through. It feels natural, it feels real, it feels raw, and these performances just work beautifully along the comedic side of this movie. Like, it never loses that groundedness and grittiness that I feel like this story really sort of benefits from. And then you've got Divine Joy Randolph, who, again, like the others, was simply superb. She plays the head cook at this school and bereaved mother. And you can feel the pain, the anger and the grief just building up within this character through her performance. She does a fantastic job at conveying this pain through her performance, and it all builds up to this certain moment within a kitchen, and that's all I'm going to say. But it's such a powerful moment, and it's through her very real and natural and raw performance. Like, you feel the pain. It's a very emotional moment and it hits hard. I do have a slight negative with this one moment, and I do feel like it was cut short, but I can also see why they may have cut it at the point they did because of how it transitions into the next scene. But minor gripe aside, their performances really help elevate this story and give it the emotional punch that it needs. I fell in love with these characters and their journey. It's one that is full of heartache and overcoming grief, but also discovery, reflection, growth and joy. It's just over 2 hours long and I didn't feel 1 minute. I actually wanted to spend longer with these characters, and it's all down to the writing and the performances and just watching how these relationships grow and develop with these 3 characters. Like, I wanted to spend more time with these characters. I just fell in love with them. I just don't think I've experienced such a wholesome journey before. Like, it's a mix of emotions. Like, this is a comedy, but with all these different emotions blended together, really help deliver a very deep and heartfelt story full of character and personality. You know, you've got this very kind of wry sense of humour, which I'm a big fan of, and you know, running throughout this movie, and it just really works beautifully alongside that kind of more emotional aspect of the story, with that, you know, that sort of alongside these very kind of fractured characters. That wry sense of humour just works wonderfully. This is one moment, there's a couple of moments to be honest with you that really made me chuckle hard, but this is one particular moment. It's a very simple moment of, all I'm going to say is, because this is spoiler free, but you got Paul Giamatti's character trying to scrape ice from a window, and I fucking laughed hard. And it's just that kind of humour that I'm a really big fan of, and it works here beautifully within the story. So from all the sort of the technical aspects of the movie, from sort of the aspect ratio, the grainy look to the film, to the performances and the writing, all these different elements help elevate the story and the characters' journeys. The aesthetic of the movie is what gives it this rawness and grittiness that I feel like it needs to really sort of help convey the very real and true pain that these characters are going through. It's not just reflected in the performances, but it's reflected and brought to life through all aspects of how this film is crafted. From just the overall sort of aesthetic of the movie, just everything to how this film looks, like from the very first opening scenes due to the way this film looks. Like, it looks as if it's been shot on film, but I'm not 100% sure how they shot this movie, so I don't want to say. But from the opening shots of this movie, so it's sort of showing you Paul Giamatti's apartment. It feels gritty, it feels real, it feels lived in, and it's down to how this movie looks and feels and how it was shot. And it's all these different elements that I feel like just really help aid and elevate that sort of real kind of emotion, that very deep emotional core to this story. So I struggled to find a showing over here in the UK. Well, I'm based in Wales, and I did struggle to find a showing. They don't seem to be showing at every major cinema like Odeon and Showcase, so I had to splash out at the Everyman Cinema. And I'll be honest with you, that type of environment that the Everyman Cinema provides was perfect for this type of movie. Like, I've seen movies there before, bigger sort of blockbuster movies that just haven't quite worked for me due to that type of environment that the Everyman provides. But when it comes to the Holdovers, if you've got a trek and you've got a resort to splashing out at a cinema like the Everyman, then please do it, because I highly recommend this movie, and I think it's the perfect type of movie to watch in an environment like the Everyman Cinema. And so yeah, I loved the Holdovers, and I will be giving the Holdovers a 9 out of 10. So yeah, they are my thoughts on the Holdovers, but what did you guys think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Then please let me know in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. And if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to watch future reviews from just some random Welsh geek rambling on, then please hit that subscribe button. It will mean an awful lot to me. And yeah, let me know, any of you guys that are based in the UK, let me know, did you struggle to find a showing of this movie? Because I found it really hard, and I didn't, the Everyman Cinema is pretty pricey, but like I said, it was the perfect environment to watch this film in. But yeah, there was none of the major cinema chains that I live, within the proximity of, was showing this movie, which is heartbreaking, because it's a beautiful movie that I feel like a lot of people should really go out and support and watch. So yeah, enough rambling on from me. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll be catching you guys soon.